Remember when high-end PC gaming meant you were chained to a desk? Or maybe you had one of those clunky, overheating laptops that sounded like a 747 taking off. Well, you can forget about all that. Those days are pretty much over. Today, we're diving into a battle between two pocket-sized monsters that are completely rewriting the rules of the game: the Asus ROG Ally 2 and the Valve Steam Deck OLED.
And look, that's not just some fancy marketing slogan. It's the truth. We are literally witnessing a revolution in computing. The leaps and bounds we've made in chip design are just staggering. All the raw power you'd expect from a desktop PC can now be squeezed into a machine that fits right in your hands. This right here is the new frontier.
So, how are we going to break down this epic showdown? Well, here's the game plan. First, we'll get into the core philosophies of these two companies, what makes them tech. Then, we're going to get nerdy and dive deep into the hardware. After that, we'll compare their absolutely stunning displays, and then dissect the all-important software. We'll also have to talk about the Achilles heel of all these handhelds, the battery crisis. And finally, we'll help you figure out which of these pocket rockets is the one for you.
All right, let's kick things off with the big picture, because to really truly get what these devices are all about, you have to understand the minds of the people who made them. We're looking at two totally competing visions for what the future of handheld gaming should even be.
And this is really where the two paths split. On one side, you've got Asus. They're basically handing you a souped-up, miniaturized PC. It's this wild beast of a machine that's all about raw, untamed power and the total freedom to do whatever you want. Valve, on the other hand, they're taking a page right out of Apple's playbook. They've built this perfectly polished, closed ecosystem where every single piece of hardware and software is designed to work in perfect, beautiful harmony. This one fundamental difference, it's the key to understanding everything else about these two.
Okay, time to pop the hood and take a look at the engines driving these things. It's right here, in the silicon heart of each machine, where you can see two radically different ways of thinking about chip design.
The Ally 2 is running on what you could only call a beast of an APU, the Z2 Extreme. I mean, it's packing a brand new Zen 5 CPU with 8 cores that just chews through the most demanding games. And its RDNA 4 GPU, it has the raw muscle to push games to a jaw-dropping 1440p resolution, something that, until very recently, was strictly home console territory.
Now, Valve is playing a completely different game here. The Steam Deck's custom chip, they call it Sephiroth, it isn't about brute force at all. No, this thing is a master of efficiency. It's designed from the ground up to just sip power, delivering a rock-solid, flawless experience at 800p. And that laser focus on efficiency is exactly why its battery life is so impressive.
And this is where the spec sheet really tells the whole story, you know? Just look at these numbers. The Ally 2 has double the CPU cores, double the GPU units, and way faster RAM. It's an absolute monster. But then you look at that TDP range, and you see the trade-off. The Ally 2 is a gas-guzzling supercar, redlining at 30 watts. Meanwhile, the deck is like a finely tuned electric racer, just sipping power at a max of 15 watts. One is built for pure, unadulterated speed. The other is engineered for endurance.
So what does all that power actually look like when you're playing a game? Well, the displays are where these two opposing philosophies really come to life. This is the battle for your eyeballs.
Before we get into the specs, I want you to just think about this for a second. What's more important to you when you're gaming? Are you the kind of person who needs that silky smooth, tear-free motion above all else? Or do you crave those deep, inky blacks and vibrant colors that just make every scene pop?
See, the Ally 2's secret weapon is something called variable refresh rate, or VRR. It's this awesome tech that syncs the screen directly to the GPU, which basically eliminates screen tearing and makes everything feel incredibly smooth, even if your frame rate dips a little. But the Steam Deck has its own ace up its sleeve, OLED. With an OLED screen, every single pixel is its own light source. That means you get perfect, true, inky blacks and infinite contrast. The result is this stunningly vibrant and immersive picture that a normal IPS screen just can't touch.
And of course, these philosophies carry over to the physical design too. The Steam Deck is this chunky, super comfortable beast. It's got these deep grips that just feel great in your hands for hours and hours. And those dual trackpads? A total godsend for strategy games or anything that was designed for a mouse. The Ally, on the other hand, it's a sleeker, more compact device. It's got a much more aggressive, gamer look, you know, complete with customizable RGB lighting. It's a device that's definitely meant to be seen.
Okay, but all the powerful hardware in the world doesn't mean a thing if the user experience is terrible. And that is where the operating system comes in. Honestly, this is where the war is really fought. The philosophical split between these two devices is never more obvious than right here.
So it really just boils down to one simple question. Do you want freedom or do you want focus? The Ally 2 gives you the wild, untamed frontier of Windows 11. You can install anything from any launcher, Steam, Epic, Game Pass, you name it. It's a true PC in your pocket. But that freedom comes at a cost. Windows can be a clunky, sometimes buggy, and often frustrating experience on a tiny screen. The Steam Deck, though, offers a walled garden of perfectly curated gaming. SteamOS is an absolute dream to use. It's a seamless, console-like experience with flawless suspend and resume. But you are locked into the Steam ecosystem, and a lot of popular online games with heavy anti-cheat just won't run.
But there's one massive, unavoidable challenge that all of these handheld PCs have to face: battery life. I mean, when you're cramming this much power into such a tiny box, you're in a constant, brutal fight against physics, specifically heat and power consumption. So let's see how our two contenders deal with this engineering nightmare.
And here it is. This is where the rubber meets the road. When you're playing a demanding AAA game, the Steam Deck's focus on efficiency gives it a full extra hour of playtime over the Ally 2, an entire hour. That is not a small difference, folks. That's an absolute game changer when you're on a plane or just away from a charger.
Now, let's dig into the numbers a bit more. What's crazy is that Asus stuffed a massive 80 watt-hour battery into the Ally 2, but that power-hungry Z2 Extreme chip just annihilates it. When you switch to lighter indie games, the Steam Deck can last almost twice as long. We're talking 8 to 10 hours. But I have to give credit where it's due. The one area where the Ally 2 shines is its cooling system. That dual-fan setup is a masterpiece of engineering, and it keeps the device whisper quiet even when it's being pushed hard.
So, after all of that, we are back to the biggest question of all. Which one of these pocket monsters is for you? And you know what? There's no single right answer. It really isn't that simple. The right choice depends entirely on your genetic profile as a gamer, what you value, what you play, and how you want to play it.
The ROG Ally 2 is for the tinkerer, the tweaker, the person who loves to get into the settings and push their hardware to the absolute limit. You're the kind of person who is willing to put up with the quirks of Windows because you want the freedom to play any game from any launcher at the highest possible settings. This is the ultimate handheld for the power user who wants it all and is willing to work for it.
The Steam Deck OLED, on the other hand, is for the gamer who just wants to play games. You want a device that just works. You want a seamless, console-like experience that gets you from the home screen into your game in seconds, with no fuss. You're all about that gorgeous OLED screen, the incredible battery life, and that comfortable design that's perfect for long sessions on the couch. It's the ultimate pick-up and play machine.
So at the end of the day, what does the future of handheld gaming even look like? Is it going to be this wild, untamed frontier of raw power and endless possibilities, or will it be a carefully curated garden of perfect, polished experiences? Raw power or perfect polish? The choice really is yours, and the answer is going to shape the future of how we all play.